evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Amplifying Voices, presenting and introducing. This evening, as we prepare to get deep into Women's History Month, I have with me, as my first time guest on Amplifying Voices, Mrs. Canangela Boyd Robertson. She is the founder and the creative behind LearnToSingAndPlay.com. Welcome to Amplifying Voices, Canangela. How are you this evening?
I am doing wonderfully. How are you?
I am great. I'm great. And, Canangela and I, we connected back in mid-January, and it seems like it has taken us forever to get to tonight, but I'm excited having you here because your business is thriving and it is something that all of us can participate in. Why don't you share a little bit about who you are and tell us how you found your passion teaching music and voice?
Well, I'm from a small town called Holly Springs, Mississippi, and that's really where I found my voice as a musician as well as a teacher. I had very good teachers growing up, and they took the initiative to start me on my teaching journey at the age of 12. My first piano student was a young lady that may have been maybe a year older than me. And from the time of age 12 through high school, I started to teach music in my town. And that was under the tutelage of my piano instructor as well as the choir directors that I had for middle school and high school. So teaching has always been a part of my work in music. I love to teach. I've taught students from all ages, beginning as early as age 3 all the way to senior adult. And this is something that I have done pretty much since the age of 12.
Wow. I mean, to find, recognize, and embrace your passion at age 12, that's
Hmm.
incredible because most of us don't have that option or we're just not there. We're thinking about, when are we going back outside again? This is something that has to be in you, in my opinion, but I don't know if in your view also, has to be a gift that you have been endowed with.
It is very much a gift. My mother's side of the family, they are all educators. And my father's side of the family is a mix of educators as well as musicians. So I think that it's genetically, I'm genetically disposed to teaching and have a very natural love for it and natural gift for it. Teaching is something that it's a passion that I feel privileged to be able to share with people because I see lives change just simply through studying an instrument. I see lives change just from people realizing that they have the potential to do something with an instrument or even with their own voice. And they're not always searching for a professional career, though I certainly have worked with people who are professional artists. Even those who are amateurs and just do this for pleasure and for self development, they are finding a love that they never thought they would have for music, and that to me is a gift.
That is a gift. That is a gift that you're, first of all, you're able to teach it, but also bring out the gift within others. That's not a small feat.
No,
That's
it's not.
major.
It's
Yeah.
not. And people are hungry for something to pour themselves into, an escape, a healthy escape from the stress of life, a healthy way of developing their hidden gifts or talents, a way of finding out those songs that they love. How can I play them? How can I sing them? Those things bring people alive. It makes them feel alive.
I agree. And I mean, this is a little off topic, but I think I understand what you mean. I think music for me, I'll just say for me, has always been a healing um, part of life.
Yes.
Um, when times were hard or when I was getting in trouble with my parents, could always turn to music. But what I could not do, Canangela, was play an instrument. I could not play an instrument other than my voice. You know, I could sing and I would sing. But I believe that we're at a time in this world, following or while we're still kind of, sort of in this pandemic state that we're in, where people are just really going deeper and reevaluating how they use their time and all the things that they left on the back burners of life because they were so busy ripping and running and earning. But this has really set up, I'm always looking for the blessing in everything, I'll say that. But this has really set up people to really pursue those dreams that they've left way in the recesses of their mind because we are so busy. When I think about the great resignation, as they're calling it, right?
Right, right.
How many people are like, I'm not going back into these buildings. I've seen how precious life is. I don't mind working, but I would like to work remotely. And then I think, Canangela, about the fact that many of us, we have our lunch break while we're at home. We could turn to playing an instrument while on that lunch break. We don't have to go outside and spend money that we can't afford to spend, but we can turn to an instrument such as the keyboards or the piano, and begin to play. Tell me, has that been a part of your business, getting people during this, getting new students during this pandemic that we've been in?
Yes, the pandemic has been a catalyst for people to really, like you said, explore who they are because we're beginning to realize that we're not robots. We're not machines and we can't run and function like machines. People are starting to look for things that bring them joy and bring them a sense of well-being. And music is a part of everybody's life. I don't know a person that I've met that has not been touched by music in some kind of way, whether it is through a jingle on a commercial or something that someone is streaming, or whether it's something that they are hearing culturally. Music touches everybody's life. So we all start out with that common ground of knowing that music is something we go to, regardless of what style you like, or even if it's just like I said, that little jingle from the Coke commercial that you like. Whatever it is, we are touched by it and we have that connection already. So now people are learning, how can I do more? How can I go deeper and begin to express myself using this? I already listened to it. I'm already singing all the songs on the radio. So now all I need to do is figure out how to make this a part of my creativity. And people are finding life with that. And release with all the stress of the pandemic and so many changes happening. We need this now more than ever.
I could not agree with you more. I run an after school out of our church. I don't know if I mentioned it to you because we did have a really great pre-conversation, but what I realized, and it's an academically based after school, but because the children have been away from each other, interacting for almost 2 years, I decided not to do a full STEAM program, but to do only the art piece. So they can have a sense of therapy while they're drawing, while they're coloring, while they're playing with Play-Doh, or whatever that was going to bring out bring an opportunity to them to sort of release as children need and as they do. And well, in a similar way, the same can be said from one with your specific skill set as a teacher of an instrument, specifically the piano. I often think about my favorite entertainer, Aretha Franklin, and how she was self-taught. If I'm not mistaken, she was self-taught on the piano and was a virtuoso of sorts. I would love to be, and I know I'm not the only person who would love to be able to play the piano. How do you get someone who's my age, who's always desired to play and learn the keyboard or the piano, to have the confidence that she or he needs to just start? How do you do that?
Getting people to start. That's the key right there. I think that it requires that you are ready for something new and you're ready to take a chance. You're ready to really take a chance on trying something different. Usually I just tell people just try just the first lesson.
Hmm.
Just do the first lesson. You'll see. It'll be fun. It'll be engaging because I think a lot of times people, especially when they're older adults, they think it's going to be too hard or
Yeah.
something that they can't engage. But once we get into that first lesson and they see that they are laughing and they are smiling and that some of the songs in the book are things that maybe they heard when they were kids or recognized, from somewhere that they've heard before, tunes that they're familiar with, then
Hmm.
they begin to see it as this isn't so bad. This is something I actually can enjoy. In fact, I do have a senior citizen that I work with now, and she loves it. She practices more than anybody else I have
Yeah.
because she has found she's here just for the joy, and she's found something that truly does bring her joy. Her mother isn't making her do it. She doesn't have the pressure of a school saying that she has to do it. It really is something that she has taken on. But it took her doing that first lesson because I had told her a while ago, and this was years ago, that I had told her I was a music instructor. And she said, well, one day when things settle down, I'm going to call you. And she finally did call me and take that first lesson. So I think that it's just getting people to do that initial step and they see, this is something that I can just relax my mind to, and I don't have to worry about, being online and always having to scroll through something online to get entertainment. This is something that is healthy for my mind and my soul.
Yes. I
Hmm.
love it. So, speaking about that client of yours, so you do both virtual lessons and one-on-one in-person lessons in your community.
Yes. I
Okay.
have virtual students, and I have, well, the virtual component is students who meet with me one on one in person. Then
Mhm.
there are students who engage in just recorded lesson line. And then I do have some private students that see me in person.
Beautiful. That should, so this is a whole business for you.
Yes.
You're doing quite well.
Hmm.
Now, Canangela and I, we prepared for our interview time tonight, but she did not prepare for what I'm about to say to her. So we want to drive students to Canangela Services. Um, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about her services, how you can be a part of her virtual student population. But what I'm about to do now, I hope that you'll be okay with. But first, let me ask you, is it very expensive if everybody doesn't have an actual piano? So keyboards are fine. Is that correct?
Yes, people use keyboards. I sometimes will refer students to like places like the pawn shop. Sometimes they'll have inexpensive instruments, but still good quality instruments. Um, it's long as it is large enough for you to begin with, we can start.
Okay. Okay.
So I would say at least 2 to 3 octaves to start.
2 to 3 octave. Is that something that if someone was shopping for a keyboard, that's what they would ask? Two to three
Yeah, they could
octaves?
say, I would say maybe 66 keys or more.
Okay. Plus. Okay. Great.
Hmm.
All right, so I asked Canangela that, as I said to you all, she doesn't know that this is a proposal that I'm about to put out there because she has more to share with you all. So, Canangela, um, I think music is so critical. All the things you've said, I certainly agree with in terms of how music is healing and therapeutic and good for your soul. It really is. But I think more of us need to do it. It's just like as African Americans, right? Uh, you're from Holly Springs, did you say?
Holly Springs, Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Hmm.
Now, people will be surprised that I was born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama,
Wow.
but I never learned to swim. But I was raised in the city part. Many blacks is something that's a part of our culture that we don't typically swim, learn to swim. Conversely, the same could be said about taking up an instrument other than when you have that opportunity when you're in school,
Hmm.
and then everybody doesn't do it. Um, I remember years ago at our church, I thought it was so important that the young people know how to play an instrument because I never learned, for one thing, but I just thought it was a good thing because otherwise we wouldn't have a next generation of musicians. So the church, we paid for a group of young people to go and take piano lessons and drum lessons. So I'm very committed to music being a part of our legacy as a people, as it is anyway. Certainly your story about your both sides of your family. So here's my offer to all who would take, and she will give you more information towards the end of our interview. For everyone who will schedule a consultation with Canangela to explore whether or not you would like to become one of her students. The 50th person, and she'll be the one who'll be the record keeper, not me, who signs up for a consultation. Is it going to be a free consultation?
Yes, it'll be a free consultation.
Okay. For the 50th person who signs up, and she will definitely let me know if she takes this offer that I'm about to propose. For the 50th person, I will purchase you a 66 key plus, and that what she just gave me as parameters for that 50th person, if you also sign up after your consultation for her classes. That's me putting my money where my mouth is because I believe that this is a legacy within our culture that should be passed on. And I am happy to offer that as a part of what she's going to offer you when you actually take her services. And so all you have to do, 50th person, is go to her, consultation, the 15-minute consultation that is free. Explore whether or not you want to sign up. But that 50th person who actually signs up for her classes, you don't have to do anything but have a place to take those lessons. And I will, on behalf of Sable Network TV, send you a brand new 66 key or whatever Canangela tells me is a perfect baseline to that person. Is that good? Do you
That's
think that's a good
awesome.
idea?
That's
Okay.
awesome. And
That's
then also, I think that people should be aware that I teach piano, but I also teach voice.
what
So
good about
if
that?
hmm
Tell us a little
so
more.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, tell us a little bit more about your voice lessons.
Um, well, the voice lessons are tailor made because it depends on what a person wants to learn. If
Okay.
you are more inclined towards classical and sight reading, we can do that. But the majority of the people that I get are more interested in contemporary styles like R&B, pop, gospel. I've had country singers. I've had musical theater singers. So there is no limit in terms of style to what you can study. The foundation and the vocal technique will be the same. The difference will be in how you execute the style. So those are things that we would explore depending on what your interests are. So if you sign up for the consultation, then in the consultation, that's where we would determine how to best work with you and what your needs are. Things like your diet, your
Uh-huh.
exercise routine, all of those things impact you as a singer. So we would do an assessment of those things as well as any medications that you may be taking that could affect your voice, any vocal problems you might be having. We would determine vocal range and maybe if you're still kind of struggling to know what style you want to study, we could determine what might be best, aligning with your vocal ability and your interests. So those are the things that you would get out of a vocal consultation. For keyboard, it would be determining what style of music you want to study. Do you want to learn to read notes? Are you interested in contemporary styles? And giving you a basis so that you can understand how we would move forward with the piano lessons, determining based on the determination of the style that you want to study. So that's how the consultations will work.
But you know what? I tell you, like I said, in my so I'm in New York, and they we have performing arts schools here that students have to audition for.
Hmm.
So what I did when my daughter was preparing for high school, I took her back to her piano teacher for him to prepare a couple of help her prepare a couple of pieces for her audition, right?
So,
I cannot tell you how what you just said about the way you structure your consultations, that's just to me so new, because he's great, he's still teaching, but it's sit down and this is what I'm going to teach you, aside from the pieces that we took to him for her to learn. I'm telling you, she's been in a performing band and all of that kind of stuff, perform all over the city. They just tell you, I
hmm
did not ask. What you're offering to your clients and your potential clients is their input. And then you're doing this whole health, medical, fitness assessment. I think that's really, really cutting edge. I do. I don't know. I've never heard it, and I've been around music all my life. Is this something that you specifically developed out of all of your um, own exposure? Is this normal? I mean, I'm really floored because this is really incredible in my opinion.
I think there are coaches. I've encountered several coaches who do some type of assessment,
Okay.
expect with voice. Um, I think it's important because there's so much that goes into singing and things that can impact you vocally, especially if you are a professional vocalist or a
Mhm.
professional musician. Those things become very important because uh, artists will come in and have vocal problems, or they may have sinus problems, or they may have nodules on the throat. So you have to, especially if dealing with professional singers, you have to do an assessment of that. And if you have someone who's an amateur, even, and just doing it for fun, it's still very important for them to know how their health and some of the things that they're doing will directly impact their voice. I feel that's a part of being educated about your craft, about what you're studying. So I have encountered teachers who've gone as far as to do an assessment.
Well, I have to tell you, you're the first. You're the first that I've encountered, and I'm very happy to hear that, because over the years we've seen Whitney Houston, we've seen Mariah Carey, these people with this incredible reach, in terms of their voices, having to get nodules removed, having to just cancel concert dates because of the wear and tear on their voice. The fact that you're taking all of this into consideration is very good. Let me ask you about the voice. Um, do you also teach those who are just actors and not necessarily preparing for a theatrical musical, but they want their voice intonation to be correct when they make delivery of their lines?
Mostly when actors come to me, it's because they are trying to prepare in case they have to sing.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Just
you
making sure.
because I think maybe some of them may work with like an acting coach or a
Gotcha.
speech coach or
Mhm.
someone more specific to their acting, but usually they're coming to me because they're trying to keep their voices in shape
Listen.
with, yes, on the hopes that they may be asked to sing or have to audition, so they have to keep repertoire under their belt to audition. But I think certainly the study of singing and vocal training does assist actors, because we are working with things like diction, we are working with things like breath support and stance and things like that that will also enhance what they do as actors. But I think if they really want to get deep with that, they will just probably go to the acting coach and come to me for that music, because that's what they have to keep under their belts.
Awesome. Oh, my wheels are just turning about how expansive your business can be. And I'm going to tell you why. I know I'm in New York, and I know that there are so many, when I say a lot of performing arts schools, and they all require auditions from eighth graders coming into the ninth grade.
Hmm.
Like me, parents want their children to do well. I will stay in touch with you because I think you need to be the beneficiary of some of those funds that parents are willing to pay to help prepare their children. There are just so many ways you can stretch your reach. So that brings me to, let's talk about where your students are, the virtual ones anyway. We know where you are locally, but virtually, how you're attracting students to your classes and how it's going so far for you. And how long have you been doing it virtually?
Virtually, it's really started with the pandemic when
Okay.
people were driven towards, isolating at home but still wanting to keep their lessons up. Um, because, of course, people had to shut down in person lessons, so the next alternative is everybody's online.
Mhm.
Um, at first, I didn't know how it was going to like to being online, but I actually love it, and I have a groove with it that works very well for me. So my online students tend to do very well. I guess in terms of the base of students, started initially with students who were in person and who have remained online to this point. I also have an online pre-recorded class on Udemy, and on that platform, there are now over 200 students from 7 countries uh, across the world. So I have students I have connection to those students, and they will reach out to me if they have questions. I have had some to do consultations with me. I have had some to do private lessons with me. So uh,
Wow.
some are coming from that direction, and of course, I also have partnerships with some other teaching studios that need teachers, and that they will funnel clients to me. So there are different avenues that I have, and of course, word of mouth and just good old social media and letting people know that I'm still teaching and here, and that I'm still doing this work. Many of the students that I've had from even years ago have reached back out to me to come back for lessons now.
Wow.
So there's so many avenues. It's been very good.
I'm so happy to hear that because I do believe that this is a time not only for people to find something that they can direct that extra energy into, but also a real time for businesses such as yours to thrive. You know,
Right.
you're living out your purpose. You are living your dream, but you're also providing a service to people who in a lot of ways desperately needed.
Hmm.
We only use those phrases like desperately needed when we're talking about something that we know will be physically life-saving. But I think in a lot of ways, music is just that, you know.
That's right.
Yeah. And I'm happy to know you and to be able to help you bring on new clients. I tell you, this is the first time I've made an offer like this. I've been doing these interviews now for the since January when we first met.
Hmm.
But I believe so deeply in the need for music to be a healing force, that's why I'm making this offer. When you get to that 50th person, you need to ring me up and say, prepare to ship. Once that person actually take your lessons, um, we would love to even have you do some of your offer some of your lessons on Sable Network TV because we really are committed to music and the arts. But
Awesome.
aside from that, let us drive to where you are right now and tell us. Oh, let me ask you, how do you assess the ones who are taking your pre-recorded courses, or do you?
Well, the pre-recorded courses, they go on the website for Udemy and they just sign up for the class. So there is no pre-screening or anything unless they want
Okay.
that one-on-one attention. Some people like working on their own and they like the pre-recorded lessons because they don't want the pressure of a coach. But some people, once they take the class and they become more curious about the specifics of their voice or their need for piano, because there are actually two classes on there, one for piano and one for voice. If they feel that they have more specific questions, then they will contact me directly and then we'll do an assessment. So usually with Udemy, the assessment comes after the fact.
Okay, I got you. I see. I see. Okay, and yeah, I mean, it's like for people like myself who prefer texting to telephone calls, they just want to do their own thing and be self-directed. So
That's
that's a great option for people who want self-directed instruction.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
And then
But
usually though, once they get in the class and I start talking about things like your diet and your exercise and being conscious of what you eat and the medications you take, then usually people do will reach out with specific questions and then they want more direct guidance. But for those who just are, interested in kind of having a more relaxed approach to learning, it's excellent for them and people do get a lot out of the class.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. And it's really, once you make the decision, it's up to you how much you're going to get out of it or anything else for that matter.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
All right. Well, I'm excited about this and to see how we can work together to drive more clients your way. But if you had a wish list in terms of your business and where you see it going now, this is another surprise I'm throwing on her because this is not something that we have prepared for. How do you see, um, I'll make it easy, throughout the rest of 2022, your business expanding and growing? How do you see being able to do that as a voice coach and a piano teacher coach?
Hmm. How do I see that happening?
See it or desire? Because that
Mm,
can be different sometimes.
I see it happening with um, just the growth of the online class for one, because the Udemy class is doing very well, and it's giving me access to students in places that I wouldn't otherwise see them.
Hmm.
So I'm excited about that, and I'm hoping that, like with Sable TV, that the subscription possibility that maybe that I can reach more people and share more resources for voice and piano through your network and maybe any other platform that's looking for that kind of content. The other part would be just continuing to push social media and making people aware through Facebook page, YouTube, and any other outlet, kind of building those outlets to let people know that I'm here and what I do, so that hopefully they will be drawn to either seek me out either for online lessons or in person.
Awesome. Awesome. I think all of those things are attainable um easily.
Hmm.
This we're going well, Tuesday will be the 1st of March, the beginning of the end of the first quarter. You have 3 quarters ahead of you to make everything you just said come to fruition. You can easily go double your 200 current clients in 7 nations by the end of the third quarter or the end of actually by the end of the second quarter, because it really is about raising awareness and people are in search of sound business models such as the one that you have just laid out for us in terms of your teaching and your coaching. I cannot imagine you not achieving each and every one of those goals. You may get to the third quarter and say, "What next?"
That's
Because
possible.
and
Hmm.
you know what? There's so much out there, and this is an advantage that I believe you have that others don't. Um, this interview that we're doing is going to be shared widely by both of us. But in addition to that, there's so many classes from which to choose, and we sometimes don't know where to begin. But because you have decided to be very intentional about letting people know your stories beginning at 12 and actually doing it through school, and now this is what you do, um, people will be gravitating towards you as an instructor, but also as your towards your services because of your radiance in terms of describing what you do and who you are. And I can't help but see how much you really love what you do. And that's not always the case. And I'm glad to see that because it gives the rest of us hope, especially those people who hate what they do. You know,
Yeah, because a lot of them come to me for music lessons,
oh
because
my. And
but I do want to add to that I am also a, a degreed musician as well. So I do have an undergraduate degree from Spelman College and a master's degree in music from the University of Rhode Island. So,
oh my goodness.
mhm.
I'm so, you should have led with that. That is awesome. Oh my goodness. That is really great to know. So look, this has been you dug into your passion from age 12 and made this your life's career, your life's work. That just puts the icing on the cake and the whipped cream on the sundae. You know,
That's
that is
right.
really good. I I have to say this. I have a live, I think I may have told you before. I have a live weekly podcast that's on Facebook Live and YouTube and what's the other one? Twitter.
Hmm.
But the primary audience is on Facebook. I would love it for you to watch on Tuesday, March 1st, as we kick off Women's History Month. Because, and you may even know her, I don't know, but her name is Major Weta Harding. Are you
Hmm.
familiar with Weta Harding?
No, but I'm interested to know.
Oh my goodness. Watch the interview. I won't even say much about her. I will send you the link and all of that stuff. Watch the interview. I think you two need to know each other.
Awesome.
Absolutely need to know each other. In fact, what is the, since you're from that, you went to Spelman, what's the name of the, it's out of Clark, Atlanta, I think. Is it a seminary? Do- Um, oh my
You
goodness.
mean
Not Morehouse.
yeah, they have ITC at Morehouse, right? That's what you mean.
Yeah, maybe it's at ITC. Maybe she,
Hmm.
but I believe she did some work there. But let's let her tell you on Tuesday. But
Okay.
I cannot imagine if you are able to tune into her live interview on Tuesday, um, that you would not send me an email real quick and say, yes, let's connect. Because I just believe in the legacy that we as a people have in music and the
Yes.
appreciation we have for it. Um, she is major, and I, no pun intended, she was a major in the armed services, but her name is Weta Harding. And I think you're gonna email me and say, yes, let's make this connection, because she too is going to be a contributor to Sable, but there's a lot of work I can see you two doing together.
Oh, that's
Honestly.
awesome.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I'm gonna tell her about you too. That I have eyes specifically watching her as she presents. This is great. This is so fabulous. Okay, so I mentioned at the beginning of our interview the name of your website. Can you again mention it for all of the people who are going to try to be that 50th person so that they can win the keyboard and those beyond? Who, how do we get in touch with you?
Okay, the website is www.learntosingandplay.com. So that's learn and then the word to sing and play.com. So you can go to my website and my contact information is there. I also have Learn to Sing and Play on Facebook. So you can find me there as well as Twitter. Learn to Sing and Play with Canangela on Twitter.
Okay, great. We're gonna all of that, everyone, will be at the end in the credits, but we don't want you to skip over the credits. We want you to read the credits because you will be able to write down her social media handles and go and find her. And listen, the Sable Network TV is all about cooperative economics and collective works. Collectively, let's all follow Canangela. Learn to sing and play on Twitter with Canangela.
Hmm.
And on Facebook, learn to sing and play. Is it .com or just learn to sing and play?
Learn to Sing and Play.
And then the website is
Dot Learn to Sing and Play. Dot
www.learntosingandplay.com.
com.
um, Easy for you all to find her and follow her. And yes, everybody's not a go-getter, but once you follow and see what she's doing, you may just be ready to take that leap and do something that you have been wanting to do for the longest time and you just never got around to it. There is absolutely no time like the present. And I believe that what Miss Canangela just shared with us, she is a degreed, she is a trained musician. This has been her life's work. She recognized her passion at 12. Sounds like you need to write an ebook on following your passion. You know,
Ooh, this could be
you
a new
should.
assignment.
You should, because that's a success story and you're still doing it. You have more than 200 international students taking your classes. And we have the pandemic to thank for that,
Hmm.
largely, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So this is really great. It is a success story, in my opinion. We look forward to you being able to achieve those goals of growth in your online classes. Definitely making those opportunities available through Sable Network TV subscription based service, more social media awareness, and of course, you're going to be able, those of you who watch the interview and share the interview, will be able to be in line to be a recipient of a brand new keyboard
Hmm.
when you sign up for her classes. What's to lose here? I mean,
That's
this is
right.
this is really great, and if it goes well, Canangela, we'll do it again. We if it goes well, that person signs up, that 50th person signs up, and takes your classes. We'll do this again because I really want the legacy. I personally, but I'm sure you do too, because you are the expert here. Want the legacy that is a part of the African American tradition to live on beyond us being here, you
That's
know.
right.
So
That's
I'm,
right.
yeah, so I'm so happy with what you're doing. I'm going to allow you, if you feel like it, to share with us whatever you want to let us know because you're not just music, you're not just voice, you're a motivational speaker. You are a healthy living guru because you start there with your clients. Can you share whatever it is you would like for us to know now about you as we wind down our time together here?
Well, I think the thing that to know about me is that I care about people, and when I work with people, I come from the perspective of being fair. I
Mm,
feel like if you're trusting me with your time and your money and you're coming to me for this service, then it is my duty to give you an excellent experience and to give you a foundation that you can build on, whether you're building on it for your own personal enjoyment or for a career. So I like to be fair and I like to treat people right when I teach them. I see what I do as being important because you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your success. You're investing in your health and your happiness. And I'm not going to cheat you in that process. I am a part of your success story. And that's how I see myself when I engage with people, whether I'm teaching music or not. Even if we're just having a conversation, I see it as you should leave me a better person or better for having been in my presence. I don't want to bring more pain and suffering to people. I really want to help build people up. And that's what music has been for me. It has been a medium to build people up. And that's what I use it for, and that's what I do. So I think you're right. So much of what I have done over the years has been not just coaching music, but to be a really strong support for the people who come to me in their lives purposes, not just with music, but in their life, because the music is there as a part of their life, and that's how I play my role. So that's what I want to leave you with about me.
I love it. And I think that others will understand what you just said holistically. And I think it's so important that you stress that you're not trying to cause anyone harm. You're not going to take advantage of them, and they're going to get what they sign up for. As long as they put the effort in, they will see results,
Oh,
right?
definitely, definitely. It's a partnership. I
Yes.
do, my part to impart the knowledge that you came seeking, and you do your part to develop that knowledge and make it a part of you. So we work together, but in all of it, it's my goal for it to be a positive experience for both of us, and something that we both look back on as we can look back on fondly, and we both were enhanced because we met each other.
Yes, you got it. You're the full package here, and we're so happy to be within your sphere and to have you within ours. And I look forward to hearing about you achieving all these things by the beginning of the third quarter and beyond. And beyond. But we will remain in contact because I have a deliverable for you when you reach that 50th person. Now, they don't have to come through this interview. When you hit 50, that's the deal. That's the
Oh,
deal.
wow.
That 50th
Okay.
person, that
That's
50th
awesome.
person, but that 50th person has to actually take your service beyond the 15-minute, because otherwise the benefit would be only theirs and not yours. And that's
That's
why
right.
we're here. We're
Okay.
here to push your service because I believe it's a credible service that many, many people need. And I'm happy to be a part of what you're doing.
Well, thank you. And I'm happy to be a part of what you're doing, bringing this to people, the opportunity to connect with others like us who do this kind of work and other types of work that people can benefit from. So I appreciate you and your service as well.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Listen, everyone, thank you for joining me again for Amplifying Voices, presenting and introducing. You have not heard the last of Miss Canangela Boyd Robertson. Be one of the 50, but be number 50 so that you can be the recipient of a 66 key keyboard from Sable Network TV for taking her services. God bless you all. See us here again for Amplifying Voices. God bless, and God bless.